Merhabalar tekrar. Öğleden sonra oturumlarımıza hız kesmeden devam ediyoruz. Şimdi İngiltere'den bir konuğumuz olacak. Tim Andrews bizimle olacak ve bir sunum eşliğinde konuşmasını yapacak. İngiltere'den, MTC'den Dijital Dönüşüm Operasyonları Yöneticisi Tim, bizimle akıllı fabrikaya giden bir dijital dönüşüm yolculuğu nasıl olmalı? Biraz bundan bahsedecek ve sunumunu yapacak. Sunumu bu oturum İngilizce gerçekleşecek. Şimdi sözü Tim'e bırakıyorum.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to join your event. My name is Tim Andrews. I'm Head of Digital Transformation at the MTC, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about the role of digital transformation in the journey towards a smarter factory. Next slide, please. In this presentation, I'm going to give a brief introduction about the Manufacturing Technology Centre and our work and our collaboration with TÜSİAD. I'd also like to talk about why digital transformation is important and what the role is in achieving a smart factory, and then a little bit about mapping a digital transformation journey. Next slide, please. So a little bit of background about the MTC. We are an independent research and technology organisation that was founded in 2011 by 3 universities. And our role is to mature technologies that come from universities for use in industry. We have over 1,000 employees, and we also have 100 member companies who help steer our research. We're also developing the engineers of the future through our apprenticeship scheme. Next slide, please. The MTC is one of 7 hive manufacturing catapults, and these centres are his role is to develop future manufacturing technologies and then work with industrial companies to gain adoption. Some of these centres specialise in certain technologies, however, all offer support services to industry. Next slide, please. The MTC have been working with TÜSİAD over the past 2 years on a collaboration on 2 projects that have been funded by the British government. And these projects have been aimed at developing digital manufacturing practitioners through a development program that shares knowledge and best practices that we've developed over several years. We've, like I'm sure many countries have recognized the need for digital practitioner skills within industrial companies. And the work we've been doing here has been working with practitioners within these companies to identify a process for road mapping that helps an organization prioritize its digital requirements. The presentation I'm about to give you talks to that process that we've been working with, and some of the companies that we've been involved with are shown there on the slide, and I'm sure that some of you will recognize them. Next slide, please. So just talking a little bit about why digital transformation is important. I think all manufacturing companies are facing critical challenges around cost and complexity, and the need to respond to an ever-increasingly more demanding customers. There's greater competition, and also this need for automation. So at the same time, we have all these challenges about how we increase our productivity, how we increase control and predictability, health and safety, whilst at the same time reducing stock and inventory, the cost of quality, our maintenance, and our delivered time to market. So all of these factors create this perfect storm, all of which are our day-to-day challenges in manufacturing. One of the primary challenges we find is how you focus on what are the right things to be working on to as part of that digital transformation journey, because digital is talked about extensively, but actually how you focus on what's the most important thing. And part of what we'll talk about now is going to be all about how you do that prioritization. Next slide, please. When we talk about digital transformation, often we focus very much on the technology side of it, But in reality, it's a combination of three key areas. First and foremost, people. People are responsible for running and operating your processes. They have the skills and the knowledge. The process itself is absolutely fundamental, and invariably, once you have yourself a repeatable, consistent process, you've got then the ability to then look at automating it using technology. So when you bring these three together and you move them at the same rate, your target really is operational excellence, and that's where these three meet in the middle. So digital transformation in my mind and in our view is very much about how you achieve operational excellence through the harmony of people, process, and technology. So it's not first and foremost about technology. Next slide, please. Often we hear the requirement as we need to have a smart factory, and if you go and look for a definition of a smart factory, you'll see many on Google. Here's one that I've put up, which a fully integrated collaborative manufacturing system that responds in real time to meet changing demand and conditions in the factory, in the supply chain, and meeting customer needs. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that's what we're looking for, but not everyone is looking to achieve a lights out autonomous factory. There's always something in between, and there are stages in which you'll go through for you to achieve that end goal. And in fact, that might not be your end goal ultimately. Next slide, please. You'll also, when we talk about smart factories, talk about advanced in digital technologies, and these are really the foundation for Industry 4. But in reality, there are, you will be using some of these technologies as you do your digital on your digital journey, but there are the important thing is establishing the relevance of the technology and how it's going to give you the benefits you're looking for. And it could be that not everyone has a fully automated robotic factory, and it's very much choosing the appropriate technology that's going to give you the return, that's going to give you the benefit. But it comes back down to is your process stable? Is it repeatable? Have we got people and skills in place to support that are going to allow that technology adoption? Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the approach we take to developing a smart factory, and this very much builds on the work with TÜSİAD and the collaboration companies, where we were looking for an approach to be able to understand what the needs are, and therefore how you prioritize the activities on your digital roadmap. So this very much now talks to that process. So first and foremost, our process looks at where are you now? What's our current capabilities that we've got through the key manufacturing processes? And we do that by looking at production operations management, quality operations, maintenance, and inventory and storage. So it's a very structured approach that works through this to understand what's our current level. We also then look to say what's our future level, where do we need to be, and we look here at a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 year timeline. So whilst a lights out factory might be the ultimate objective, that might be something that's on a 10-year timeline. Once we've identified where we need to be, we need to look at those capability gaps and how we address them, and then what actions do we need to put in place to close the gaps? And so that's fundamentally what the process is. Next slide, please. The process we use is very collaborative. So we hold a series of. So we can have the next slide, please. We have a series of stakeholder workshops where we understand what the business strategy is and what those drivers are that we're moving towards. We then identify who in the organization are best placed to provide the expertise around those capabilities, and we hold a series of collaborative capability mapping workshops where we assess current and future capabilities, but we also understand some of those challenges. As a group, then we would go away and collate and analyze the outputs from those work, and then run some feedback sessions with the people who were involved in the initial workshops to make sure that what we've heard is the right thing, that we're not putting words in people's mouths, and that we use that output then, once we validated it, to inform the development of a roadmap, our transformation roadmap, and I'll show you an example in a minute. Beyond that, we then have a roadmap presentation where we meet with the stakeholders to talk through what that transformation journey looks like. And it's very unlikely to be on very specific technologies. It's more about the capabilities that the business needs, both in people, process, and technology, that are going to support that. Next slide, please. So the capability maturity assessment, as I said before, looks at more than just technology. It's about people and process, and we have a scale from 1, which is initial capability level, to an optimizing, which very few organizations will be operating at this stage. And we work collaboratively with the team in the workshop to assess where we currently are and what's realistic for a 3-year or 5-year timeline to achieve in terms of capability level. So it sets the pin in the ground for those activities. Next slide, please. This is a typical output from a capability maturity assessment that just allows us to visualize what the gap is. There's obviously a lot of information that sits behind that in terms of understanding those challenges, but this very much lets visualize what's the size of the challenge that we're looking for. Next slide, please. We then take the information, and there's a lot of data from these workshops, and start breaking it down into core themes. Once we've identified the challenges, we put those challenges into themes, understand the cause and effect, and then put together some potential solutions. And we do that across the 3 strands of people, process, and technology, because invariably it's not about buying a piece of technology that's going to solve the problem. It's about changing the process, putting in place the right skills and development for people, and then using that technology to enable you to make those improvements. Next slide, please. Finally, we pull that together into a visualization of the digital transformation roadmap. And this, again, has these 3 strands of people, process, and technology, and the themes using that color-coded legend on the side of that just shows what's expected over the 2, 3, 5-year process as we move from our current mode of operation in the bottom left-hand corner to our future mode in the top right. In addition to that, we provide detail for phase 1, which is building out those first steps. And sometimes it means stop doing the wrong things. And we've come across organizations that are implementing siloed systems and solutions which aren't helping the process. They're creating more manual handoffs, creating more manual intervention, which ultimately is more inefficient. But by being able to map what those activities look like on a benefit versus implementation chart, we can identify some quick wins. We can understand what are the larger investments. We can then talk to getting stakeholder buy-in, and most importantly, communicate that plan. Next slide, please. I just want to give you just a small example here of an organization we work with who were having real problems with meeting their on-time delivery. It's a small CNC machine shop in the aerospace industry. What we did was, when we worked with them, having done a roadmap, we identified that there were some real challenges with the production planning and getting that communicated into the shop floor. So we took information from their existing ERP system, having done some work on optimizing the schedule, and created some visualization dashboards across the shop floor. And that helped them see what that schedule looked like. They knew what work was coming up, when it was due, how much was involved, what the jobs that were following up. And as soon as they started to run behind, we could then color code those that people could see that. And it actually transformed the way they managed work through the shop floor, and also the way in which the teams worked on those activities. And what they saw from that was a 30% increase in productivity. Their delivery schedule, on-time delivery schedule, moved from 80 to 99%, and they won awards from various customers. So it's a very simple example of virtually no expense, a little bit of work on taking information out of their ERP system, but real benefits from that solution, and for no on cost, no increases in resources, a real win-win. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to summarize really. It's been a very brief talk through what a transformation journey looks like, but by taking that capability assessment approach, you can look at where the real challenges are and identify where you're going to get the biggest benefit, but understand where you are and where you need to be going forwards, and create that digital roadmap, and most importantly communicate it, bring people along on the journey. It's vital. Next slide, please. And that's the end of my presentation. I hope it was of interest to you, and thank you very much. And the point really here is that everybody's journey is different towards a smarter factory. So thank you.
Team Andrews'a çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Bir sonraki oturumumuza geçiyoruz.